Hey people, today just going to run a quick session on what we're calling how to sell Sage. Before we get there, I guess a bit about our goal. I guess the goal is to utilise that brand demonstration or that in-store experience as part of a full 360-degree go-to-market campaign that will include lots of other digital stuff. But essentially you're taking that one message right through every touch point through to the consumer buying their product and after. And the result we're looking for at the end of the day is to sell more coffee machines. We do this, we'll achieve our goals for the financial year. So, introducing to you today the 4 key elements to sell Sage coffee, all right? Bit of a play on those words with the 4 key elements. But we're going to take you through 4 key steps, 3 fingers, 4 key steps to hopefully increase our conversion rate to sell more coffee machines. Those 4 steps are about greeting the person, and we'll go through each of these. Education, we'll prove that we can deliver on that education, on that great cup of coffee, and then we'll close into the sale. So let's break each one of these down. So that greeting. So the greeting is an important part of the process. It's a way to build rapport, start that conversation, but really get personal so we can have that personal conversation with people. And this is a time when we should be listening. And one point we must make is when we greet someone for the first time, the thing we must never, ever say is, can I help you? Because the automatic answer for a nervous buyer is to say, no, I'm okay. So we don't want to do that. We want to get into a conversation at a personal level so we can start to do a few things. One of those things is to start to listen. So we want to, at this stage, work out what the consumer wants, what their needs are. And we can play on their needs. If we deliver on those needs, we're going to have a better chance to sell at the end of the day. Just another point at this juncture is we've been thinking a lot about who we should be chasing, who are our hottest targets, I guess, in store at any one time. We think the number one person we should be chasing is anyone looking at any other brand's coffee machines on the floor. So they're keen to buy a coffee machine. We can educate them to a better cup of coffee than any one of those other brands on the shop floor. The second one would be anyone looking at one of our coffee machines. And the last group of people is anyone that's breathing, right? There's no standing there dormant, just go and attack anyone. If you don't sell, at least you've practiced all this process. The second bit and the third step, so the second and third element to selling, are somewhat related. So this is about education and the proof, okay? So the education is all about building value into our process. Building value, a lot more value into a Sage coffee machine than any of the others. And the way we do that is by focusing on the 4 key elements. But it's not just about those 4 key elements. It's not what they are, but it's about what they mean, okay? So as an example, having great temperature control is one thing we might say is one of the 4 key elements. But if we've educated the consumer on why temperature is so important, that if temperature spikes by as little as 1 degree, that's where the bitter flavour comes out of the coffee machine, then that's one thing, and it's a different thing to say we've got great temperature control to saying having educated the consumer on why temp is so important to avoid bitter and sour flavours, then saying we've solved that industry need by the inclusion of PID control or dual boilers. That's another thing. That's about features and benefits. But at the same time as we're going through the 4 key elements, we need to be proving these at the same time. So we definitely be making a cup of coffee through the process as we're talking it through. It's not a coffee demonstration, but it's a demonstration of those 4 key elements. And at the end of the day, we'll prove it by the taste. If the coffee tastes great, it means we've delivered on those 4 key elements. And if the coffee looks amazing, it means we've delivered on latte art milk. This proof point is also a very good chance to have our first crack at a close, right? So how does that coffee taste, right? If the consumer goes, oh my God, that's amazing. I've always drunk bitter coffee. There's no bitterness in this, or this is just like my favourite cafe. That's a really good point to circle back around to our 4 key elements. Again, prove why our machine delivers on that taste, which overtly is saying that the others can't. And then if you're saying, is that the type of coffee, if is that the type of coffee that you want at home, then you need a coffee machine that delivers on those 4 key elements. We're the only ones that does that. Now let me tell you, let's get you into the right coffee machine for you. The last bit is the close, right? And it is what we just said, is about getting to that right coffee machine. When you close, every person you speak to, we should be asking them to buy the product, right? We should be asking them for the sale. But hopefully by the time you've got to this stage, you've found out a lot about the consumer. You know if they've got a small house, large house, if they want to make coffee, if they've been interested in doing, going through the process, or if they really want to get into it. You'll be able to dictate, you know, or I guess drive them to the right type of coffee machine for them. So just going through those again, this is a sheet, we'll give you this presentation. But build that rapport, start a conversation, get personal, listen at this point, try and understand those key points that people are trying to have solved by this purchase. Educate them by using the coffee industry as their advocate to great coffee. We didn't make these rules. The coffee industry made these rules. We just live within them because that delivers the best tasting cup of coffee. Prove it by actually doing it as a live demonstration in front of them, and do it multiple times if it's needed. So the taste, if they like the taste, circle back around the 4 key elements and practice your latte art, because that's the proof of latte art milk. All right. So the last thing is about you, right? So what we're saying is we want you to be the advocate for great coffee, okay? And then you talk down to your machine from there. You need to look the part. Confidence is a massive thing at this point. So keep practicing behind that, and so you build your confidence. Jump on those hot prospects. Don't let them float around the shop floor. Utilize that advocacy from the industry with the 4 key elements. Prove we deliver in the cup. Make as many cups as you need in the selling process as you need in the selling process. Keep your reporting up. Okay, the reporting is so important. We learn so much about the reporting. We measure it. We adjust, we tweak, we change our strategy based on those numbers that we get back from you guys. Right, so this next section of the presentation is a little bit more about the 4 key elements. I'm not going to go through those now, but you'll see that they're there. And I just want to come back to this slide. You will get objections in the buying process, okay? They are a good chance to overcome an objection, confirm that you've overcome that objection, and then get back on track with your selling process. It looks hard to use. That's something we get, right? It's tricky. If you're on an Oracle Touch, get them to make a cup of coffee. There's 3 touches, right? I would definitely have made a coffee for them first, but get them to make another coffee and another one. If there's a husband or wife there, there's no reason why they shouldn't both be making a cup of coffee, so they both feel at ease with the purchase, and they'll get their credit card out. It's too expensive is probably something that we get. Look, controlling the 4 key elements, let's admit that it's an expensive thing to do. If you want to be so precise on temperature and the pressure and the amount of coffee and have that latte art milk, it comes at a cost. But it comes at a massive benefit if we've sold them on that great cup of coffee. So the good thing about it is we do have a range. We can fit people in the range. But I think this last one here is the best advice is, why don't you just go down around the corner and buy a Keep cup, and that'll save you that £3 on the way to work every day. Okay, just get into that story. It's a benefit that trying to get away from expense and get back to the value of the cup again, I guess is what we're saying. That's it. So recap: 4 key elements. Practice your greeting. Okay, get into that conversation. Listen. Make it personal. Tell your story about the 4 key elements of coming from the coffee industry. Prove it, and prove it over and over and over and over again. Overcome those objections, get people to touch the machines if they need to, and close into the right coffee machine for those guys. Keep the information coming back on WhatsApp, and we'll keep learning and tweaking, getting better as we go. All right, good luck guys.